Hey, what's up everyone? So Miss Pandaria is coming up to a wrap, so I decided, hey, I wonder what the best 5, or the top 5 I should say rather, PvP classes of the expansion were in general. And I'm going to be having a couple categories for this. I'm going to be looking at usefulness throughout the expansion, not just in one patch. Usefulness in RBGs and Arena. I'm going to be taking all specs into account. I'm not going to favor like one spec and be like, oh, this class is amazing because Frost is amazing, for example, or whatever, but you know, for some classes that's just unavoidable. But anyways, let's get right into this shit. Number 5, mages. Mages have been at the top in 3v3, and they are always useful in RBGs, especially for their slow fall. Fire, Frost, and Arcane are viable in RBGs if you play them well. I've seen them play well at high level. All specs. Frost preferably. But all the mage specs are useful in RBGs. If you get a good player, of course. And in Arena, you get a good Frost mage. Oh shit. You know, things are going to happen. In 3v3, they're continuously on top of the leaderboards. Mages are always useful. And for the most part, have always been useful throughout the course of all the expansions. And number 4, the Priest. Now, this is one of the ones where I can include all the specs. Shadow, at the beginning of the expansion especially, was just incredible. There's a lot of high-rank Shadow Priests at the beginning of the expansion until the melee started getting a little better, and I'm pretty sure Shadow had a little bit of its damage reduction nerf, so they just started getting eaten up by melee. But Shadow is very, very, very good in 3v3 and RBGs, as well as Discipline and Holy. Discipline and Holy are both amazing. Probably Holy more for the Arena, but you know what? I don't really know that much about Priests. All I know is that they have been at the top continuously throughout the expansion. Number 3, Warlock, the arch nemesis of the Shadow Priest. Warlocks have been at the top, starting at the beginning of the expansion with Demonology Warlocks. Demonology Warlock Snuts won BlizzCon as a Demonology Warlock, coincidentally playing with a mage. I forget the healer that they were running with. It might have been a Resto Shaman, not sure. But anyways, locks have been amazing this expansion. At the beginning of the expansion, it was Demonology that was very strong. In the middle of it, it was Destruction. You saw a lot of Destruction Warlocks this expansion. And tapering off to the end of it, we see a lot of Affliction going on at high-end Arena. Now in RBGs, Affliction can put out some huge-ass damage, and Destruction is capable of putting out some big-ass fucking numbers as well. You don't see too much of Demonology nowadays, and I hope that really changes for WoD. Looking forward to it. Number 2, the Druid. This one will be very controversial, but I stand by it. Just take into account that we're talking about RBGs as well here. We'll start off with Guardian. Guardian is the best tank, hands down, for RBGs, is always needed. Feral. Feral in 3v3 has been very, very good throughout the whole expansion. Except for maybe, you know, some of the nerfs in 5.4 to Cyclone, and some of their bash shit, but otherwise, they have been amazing. Boomkin. At the end of the expansion here, with all the gear scaling and stuff, Boomies are crushing everything. They're doing lots of damage. In RBGs, they are probably the most useful caster, if played right. And they're capable of just putting out insane numbers. Resto Druids. Resto Druids are probably the best healer in 3v3 right now. They're always at the top of the leaderboards in 3v3 and RBGs. I can't say enough about Druids. It's just the fact that all of their specs are useful in one way or another. And they have been throughout the entire expansion. And a drum roll for number 1. A lot of you will disagree with this, and I'm sure of it, but it is based on overall representation. Number 1 is the Hunter, in my opinion. And I think I can justify that. In every single patch of this expansion, the Hunter has been at the top of the ladders for 3v3. Hunters are able to play with pretty much any class and be viable. There has never been a patch this expansion where Hunters were not rank 1 viable, or at least able to make pushes for rank 1. In RPGs, they're not so useful. But, you know, they're really good at guarding nodes. And if you get a good hunter, holy shit, they can do a lot of damage. I will take a good hunter any day over, you know, one of those other classes. But anyways, hunters. They've been very consistent. Maybe the most consistent out of any class. They have been good throughout the entire expansion. In Arena, hunters are my favorite partners to play with. I have never played a hunter at 90. All I know is that if I'm going to play with a class, whether it be in 2v2, 3v3, I will always want a hunter. Those traps and that damage is too valuable. Alright, well guys, that wraps up my top 5. And again, keep in mind, this is my top 5. It doesn't represent, you know, this isn't something set in stone here. This is just my opinion and my feeling of what I've had throughout the expansion. Leave your opinions in the comments below. I would love to see them, and tell me where you think I'm wrong and argue that. If you are right, you deserve to be right. And if I am wrong, I'm wrong. The end. But I hope I have successfully persuaded you to see that these are the top 5 PvP classes in Pandaria. Alright everyone, hope you had a good one. See y'all later.